So if you're struggling and looking for help, or maybe you're in long-term recovery and looking for a little nostalgia, let's discuss the best and worst programs in the state of Massachusetts. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. So just doing a little quick video for you guys today. I wanted to have something for you guys to watch. I haven't had a video all week. The video that I had ready for you guys had to come down last night, and I'll talk about that later. But I just want to do something that's fun kind of for me to go back and talk about this stuff, and maybe it could actually be helpful to some people if people are out there struggling and they're looking to get into some place or wanting some information on different facilities. But I know a lot of the viewers that watch my videos have been through a lot of the same stuff I have, so a lot of this might be like kind of nostalgic for you or bring up memories, and you guys can definitely commiserate with some of the different things I'm talking about. So I'm going to list the best and worst rehabilitation places in Massachusetts. That includes like detoxes, long-term. I'm going to mostly talk about places that I've been to. I've been to a fair share of them myself. So let's talk about the worst places first, before I discuss the worst facilities. Okay, so first off, how am I going to rate these places? What am I taking into consideration when I'm saying the best and worst programs in Massachusetts? So what I do, and I'm sure I know a lot of people who've been in the same situations as me, we all kind of like look at these places in the same kind of point of view or lens, you know? So you gotta think about the actual facility itself. What does the actual facility look like? Is it really gross and dirty? Is it old, falling apart? What are the rooms like? Is it like a bunch of dudes all stacked together in a tiny little room, or is it just like two people rooms? What are the beds like? Are they just like these little cots with like jail mattresses, or are they actual beds? You know what I mean? So all those things taken into consideration. Then of course there's the food, because you get fed there the whole time, and usually once your appetite starts coming back, that's like one of the main things you focus on is the food. It was for me anyways. I always gain like 40 pounds when I get clean, like right off the bat. So some of these places, most of them, the food is pretty bad, but then some places you'd be shocked. There's like a chef preparing the meals, and in one place he'll come around and ask people like what they want, and he'll make like special meals for people and stuff. Like, I'm telling you, some of these places it's almost like you're going on vacation somewhere. And then unfortunately, yes, I definitely did, and I know a lot of other people do, they make a choice about where they're going by like the kind of protocol they use to take you down off the stuff. You know what I mean? What they use, what kind of medication they're going to use, or how much of it. So all these things really do factor into when you're making a choice of where you want to go. All right, so the worst places. Now, honestly, most of the places I've gone, like as messed up as it sounds, I really didn't like hate them. Some of them were almost like too comfortable. It's like I started getting like used to going there, and like knew the staff, knew how the whole place worked, and just felt way too at home, way too comfortable in some of these places. But definitely off the bat, Spectrum out in Westboro, the old Spectrum that has the big red brick building. That place, definitely. So definitely not the worst place I've ever been to. The thing with that place is there really isn't much going on during the day. You're just kind of hanging out. They don't really have groups. There's not really a whole lot of structure. The place itself, the facility, is pretty beat up. It's old. They used to have like payphones, so you had to have like quarters or a calling card where you couldn't make outgoing calls, and they didn't explain it to you at first. So if you just showed up there with nothing, you couldn't call anybody. It was kind of a bummer. The food is pretty whack. Like, it's not very good. I think they had like French toast sticks like four or five out of the 7 days I was there. The caseworkers don't really do a whole lot. Like, some places the caseworkers like jump through hoops for their clients to try to get them into further programs and stuff. This place, they wait till the last day and say, hey, we can give you a ride to South Station. We can't find any place for you. So that was my experience. But the one thing they do is they hit you off with a serious taper right from the get-go, and that's one of the reasons people like to go there, is because of the protocol they use. That's really the only positive thing I can say about that place, because like I said, the actual facilities are pretty dingy. The rooms are wicked tight, and they have like 4+ guys in the rooms, and there's really nowhere to go. There's just one little day room and like a hallway, and there's like, besides going outside for butt breaks, there's really like nothing to do during the day. They don't have groups and stuff. So that place definitely wasn't my favorite place. Another place I really didn't like too much was High Point. I went to the one in Plymouth. First of all, it's just like down in it's not on the South Shore. There's not, I mean, obviously Spectrum's in Westboro. That's far away too, but it's just like I fell out of my element with all those South Shore kids down there. You know what I mean? They don't even play whist the same way we play whist on the North Shore. But that place was all right. There was decent people there. It was co-ed. The facility itself was pretty clean. But they make you wear like those hospital johnnies, like that nurses and stuff wear. So it's like you don't even get to wear your own clothes. And I don't know. I wasn't really too big of a fan about that place. I was like just sick in my bed the whole time I was there. I was going there just to have a quick little spin drive before I got a scholarship to a program in Florida. But so the worst place though, my all-time least favorite place, the place I'd only go to if there was no beds anywhere else. And it's the only place they could get a bed, and I was very desperate. Danvers Cab. It is just I can't say anything good about that place except for sometimes there was like a good group of guys in there and we were catching lots of wreck and we were having fun and just like tearing the place up, being menaces. That's really the only good thing I can say about that place. Like the facilities itself are so dingy, so gross. Sometimes they put you in like an 8 to 10 man room where like you literally like if you turn over and your arm flops over, you can touch the person next to you. It's like one bathroom for like 8, 10 guys detoxing at the same time. It's ugly. It's not a fun place to be. The food's awful. Most of the staff is like real rude. There's a couple caseworkers that are real good that go up beyond, and most of the time, like it's just like not great people in there. The mentality kind of stinks. People aren't really trying to do like the right thing. There's a lot of bad stuff going on inside there. So I gotta hate that place. I've never been to the Boston Cab. I don't think that's much better, but I don't know. And plus the protocol they use like the weakest taper out of any other place around. Like it doesn't even touch you. So the whole time you're there, you're just like miserable and sick. They don't do anything to make like to take it away from you. It's like what's the point of even going there? That's why the majority of people that go there like bring stuff in with them that they're not supposed to. It's just I don't know. I that's the only place I've literally left AMA against medical advice almost every time at that place because I just can't hack it. After like a night or two, I'm like I gotta get out of this joint. It's terrible. So let's talk about a couple of newer facilities in Massachusetts. Now recovery is like this huge multi-billion-dollar industry. So these people are like putting money into insurance companies, whatever, these different Leahy groups and whatever. They're building new facilities, supposed to be nicer, better. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just a way for them to make money off of people's misery, in my opinion. They don't really care. There are people that work in these places that really care, but the overall thing is, it's just like a numbers game, in my opinion. You got to really want to do the right thing yourself and be driven if you want to succeed, regardless of where you go. But so two of the newer places, I've been to both of them. Unfortunately, these are like my last two stops were at these places. I've been clean for a little while now, thank goodness. But we have RCA in Danvers. That's Recovery Centers of America. It's kind of like a chain thing, I guess. I guess they're all over the place. But this place was like, you know, oh, this is so nice and fancy and new, and it was. But it was like I went there during like the heat of COVID, so that might have been a reason why there wasn't too much interaction. There was no groups. There was no meeting with the counselors or anything like that. You have every individual has a TV next to their bed in their room, and they just medicate the heck out of you. You know what I mean? So you're basically just laying in bed watching TV, and they just roll a cart through with snacks every couple hours and just throw sweets at you. That's how you know what I mean. Then you get out and you have to like come off of all the stuff they gave you. I don't know. I wasn't too impressed. It's just like okay, yeah, this place is fancy, but I don't really see how many people are going to succeed going through there. If that's hopefully it's changed since things have gotten back to normal in the last few years. But and then so another one is New England Recovery Centers. I think that's what it's called. It's right in Westboro, right next to the old Spectrum. I went there, and this honestly is one of the nicer places I've been to. It's not too they don't make it too comfortable for you like other places. But I used to like going to other places because they made it so comfortable. But this place has a good mix of they make you comfortable enough with their protocol, but they also have groups almost like every other hour, and the counselors meet with you almost every single day. The group I was in there with was a great group, very positive, but it just seems like it's more of that type of place. It's not such a negative place like Danvers Cab or the old Spectrum in Westboro. There's more of like it's just like the building itself is just brighter and has a more positive feel to it. The food's halfway decent. Like I said, the staff is good. Honestly, one of the better places I've been to. So if you're trying to actually do something and you want to succeed in your recovery, I would suggest reaching out to see if you can get a bed at this place. And they have really good aftercare too. They have like a holding right up on the hill. Like you can walk right up to it and you will get into a good halfway house or a program from there if you do what you're supposed to do. All right, I'm just gonna briefly address it. I really don't want to talk too much about it. I just want to keep it moving because I'm honestly pretty salty about it. But I took the video down last night that I uploaded. I've been teasing it all week on my IG story. It seemed to be kind of a buzz about it. It's getting pretty decent views. I talked to people on both sides to try to get an unbiased story, but the person who was initially really happy with it got flack from their people, and he asked me to take it down. I don't normally do that, and in the future, I'm not going to. If I upload a video in the future and you were okay with it and you wanted me to it, I'm not going to take it down after. This is like the last time I'm doing it. My time is very valuable. Like I work another full-time job digging clams commercially, and I have two little kids, so I take a lot of my personal time, basically all of my personal time that I have to put into the videos and stuff. And people have blown me off multiple times for interviews now, and then this situation. So I don't know. It's probably going to affect the way I do my content in the future, but I just wanted to explain it to you because I'm sure I very much apologize to anybody if they were in the middle of watching that video and it just cut out because I took it down. So I apologize, and it's not going to happen again in the future, but I just wanted to briefly address it. But I'm going to keep it moving because I'm salty about it. No. One place I went to that wasn't too bad. It was a while ago though, so I don't really know how current this information is because this was like probably at least 10 years ago I was down there. Was Arbor Fuller. I went to the one in Attleboro, which is far away from me. It's like almost down on the Rhode Island border. There's also one in Jamaica Plain, like basically right in the city. But this place is, they do straight, you know, for people who are using, but there's also dual diagnosis. And I think they even have like a psych ward section as well. It's a pretty big facility. It was just really nice and clean. The staff was really nice. I had a good caseworker who really like challenged people to try to do better and like, you know, are you serious about your recovery? You're just here just to buy some time. They give you like they have a strong protocol, better than a lot of places. You won't be suffering at all. They have like a whole little snack area. The actual food in the cafeteria was good. So it's definitely one of the nicer places I've been to. I haven't been to this specific place, but everybody I've talked to says it's one of the better places and they have a very high success rate. Adare Hospital in Worcester. Back in the day, they used to have a 1-800 number that you could call and they would come pick you up wherever you were. I don't know if they still do that. It's a lot different now, like the demand for beds and how the insurance companies work and everything like that. So I'm not sure. You probably have to be on like a waiting list. They used to come pick you up like within the 48 hours, I believe. But I don't know how that works anymore. From all the people I've spoken to that have been there personally, they say it's definitely one of like the nicest places they've been to. So I think it's also important to mention that back in the day, you used to have to go to the emergency room, say I need help, tell them what was going on. You'd be sitting there all day. Sometimes you'd be sitting there for almost 24 hours, and then they'd be like, "We can't find a bed. You have to leave." And that is like the most miserable feeling. So people used to tell them you're gonna do something bad, you're gonna hurt yourself or this or that, and they'd get you a bed, which is true. They can't like send you back out on the street if you say something like that. But the thing is though, is you're not going to usually end up in a place where you want to be. You're going to get you in a bed, but sometimes it's going to be in like a locked psych unit where you have to sign a paper saying, you know, you're there basically for 72 hours. And if it's on a weekend, those don't count. So sometimes you can be there for like almost 4 days before you can even check yourself out. You can't leave. It's like a 72-hour hold once you go to a place like that. And it's not the same as like a regular program that you're going to. Like you're gonna be there with people who are seriously mentally ill. They're not gonna give you like the protocols that you get in a different place. It's just I strongly suggest that you do not do that if you're trying to get help. If you're really desperate, there's other avenues. Like most places now, there is in Gloucester. If you're in the Cape Ann area, they have a community impact unit. That's like it's the Gloucester police do it, but it's nothing to like. They're not gonna get arrested or searched or anything. You go there and you meet with this guy Tito, and he's in recovery, and he's like the plug. He has all these people. He'll get you a bed that day. That's been my experience. So don't go to the emergency room and do that stuff. Look up a place that's like I know Gloucester is not the only place that has this, but go to like a HES, some sort of um, outreach place before you go to the emergency room. That's my personal advice. So my all-time, and this is like kind of messed up to say it, but like my all-time favorite place that I ever have gone for help. It's the first place I ever went to. I don't even want to say how many times I've been there because it's embarrassing. But this is a place I'd always request to go until they stopped taking. They don't take Mass Health anymore. You have to private pay or have private insurance. And like the last time I called there, they were telling me I had to put 2,000 down to like just that was even just to get in the door, let alone what the actual bill was gonna cost. I was like, if I had $2,000, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. I'd still be out there doing my thing. Like, it's just wild. But Baldpate in Georgetown, like this place, it used to be a legitimate inn, like a bed and breakfast inn, but the family donated it to become like this hospital. They just made a deal that one of their family members, Neil, who had like special needs, that he could live there and be taken care of. And he just passed away probably about 10 years ago or whatever. I remember the first time I was in there and I saw this big flat screen TV on the dude's wall. I'm like, how does he get that in his room? And they were like, oh, that's Neil. He's one of the family members, the people who sold it to become the hospital. But anyways, the place, it's unbelievably beautiful. It's like you're literally in an old inn room. There's like rumors that it's haunted up on the third floor. They actually don't put people up there anymore, which is kind of suspicious. I was actually in the haunted room once or twice in there. But it's just a cool old building. It's in the middle of the woods in Georgetown. You'll go outside having your coffee in the morning. Everybody's doing their butt break, and you see deers walking by, and bunnies, and red foxes and stuff. It's just like it's almost like you're on vacation. As sick as that sounds and messed up as it is, and also it's co-ed. There's always like attractive females there. The old saying used to be, "If you want a date, go to Baldpate." I mean, I'm not in this frame of mind anymore. I'm just being honest and telling you how people really like. I used to have this frame of mind, honestly, when I'd be looking to places to go. I wanted to go somewhere where I'm going to be comfortable. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to go suffer at Danvers Cab. I want to go be comfortable at Baldpate. But it's almost a good thing that they changed things around. You can't just go in there like you used to. I got way too comfortable going to a place like that. And that's no way to live, guys. It really isn't. You're supposed to go to these places to get the stuff out of your system so you can even have a chance, because it's so hard to just kick on the street in your apartment when it's just a phone call away. I almost forgot to speak on the Salvation Army. So if you don't have insurance, I found myself in a situation where I got really treated wrongly by a place I was working for. I was a sous chef on salary for this big like hotel group, and they just like threw me under the bus. And I went to go get help, and while I was in there, they canceled my insurance. So I had to leave the place I was at. I had nowhere to really go, and the only place I could go was the Salvation Army. And I really wanted to do the right thing at that point. Like my first daughter was a baby and stuff like that. So Salvation Army is tough. If you don't want to, if you're not into if you're not really serious about doing the right thing and walking the straight line, it's not going to work for you at the Salvation Army. They're so strict. There's so many rules. You have to work Monday through Friday in the warehouse. I eventually got into the store, and that's when things started to go wrong for me. But you have to work 40 hours a week basically for your food and your room and board. They make you go to church every Sunday. You got to wear a shirt and a tie. After 7 o'clock at night, you got to wear a collared shirt and tuck it in. I like structure. I feel like if I never got into trouble in high school, I probably would have gone into the armed forces of some form of the service. I do well. Like when I played football and did wrestling in high school, I did good. And then when I quit after my junior year, that's when things started to go wrong. So some people need that structure, and it was really good for me. And they feed you really good there. Like the food they make is actually good, and then they have all types of stuff that gets donated by Trader Joe's and people. I got a whole new wardrobe when I was there working in the. You're not supposed to take the clothes from the warehouse, but everybody does, and they see nice stuff come through. But all I know is that people talk a lot bad about the Sally. One time I actually took a jail sentence over going there, and I'd never even been there. Just people told me you don't want to go there, so I didn't. And then when I went there, I was like, why did I go to jail instead of here? And then after I screwed up and got kicked out of there, and my probation officer locked me up, I 100% was saying, man, I wish I was still in the Salvation Army. So it's definitely not the worst place in the world. If you want to get clean and you want to succeed in your recovery, you will do it anywhere. I promise you. So if you don't have some sort of crazy insurance that will pay for like the best programs ever, if you don't have, affluent parents that are willing to drop 60 grand on the Plymouth house in New Hampshire, some of the only ways you're going to get into a long-term program is by sitting in a holding. And you got to be really driven and like dedicated to, I'm going to be in my recovery. I'm going to stay clean to like make it through these holdings. I'm just being honest. They're tough. I've never made it through a holding to get to a program. I always leave. It's the Shattuck, Lynn TSS. Those are tough places. Tewksbury Holding, it kind of depends on what the crowd is there. It's not one of the worst ones, but sometimes if there's a bad crew in there, it can be very active and it can be hard to stay away. When you're in a vulnerable state like that, you're only like a couple weeks to a month away from the stuff and you see stuff, it's not so easy. You might think in your head oh, I don't want to do that, but then when it's actually presented in front of you, it's a different story. So holdings are tough, but if you're driven and you really want to succeed and you're like dedicated and you're for real about your recovery, you can make it through anything. I really truly believe that. So a couple programs that if you're looking for long-term recovery, you want some place that has a high success rate. These are some of the best places in the state, but just know if you want to get into one of these places, you're going to be sitting in a holding for at least a couple months. A lot of these places have 3-month plus waiting lists. Things can always change though. So if you hear like things, program has 3 months or plus waiting list, don't get all, oh, I'll never get in that place. Things change. Like sometimes a whole house can turn over within like a 48-year period if some bad stuff gets in there and then people are not in the right state of mind. Like literally multiple beds can open up in a short period of time. So just stay focused on what you're trying to do. Just keep it in the day. But some of the best places to tell your caseworkers, that's another thing. As soon as you get into your initial place, from the day one, you got to start telling your caseworker, this is my plan, this is where I'm trying to go, so they can get those referrals going just to speed up the process as much as possible. But there's East Boston Rehab, very strict but very successful program. Middlesex Recovery, one of my best friends graduated from there. He just celebrated 6 years clean. They have a very high success rate. They're strict but very good. Then there's the Link House, which historically is one of the toughest halfway houses in the area. It's in Newburyport, and a lot of guys come out of jail and go there, but it's like a mix. It's just very strict, and they have a lot of rules, but I've heard that things have been kind of changing the past few years, and it might not be the exact same program that it used to be that I know. So I can't say, but I know historically the Link House is a good house, and if you can follow the rules and do it, you have a good chance of being successful in your recovery after. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It definitely wasn't the video I planned to have for you guys this week, but I wanted to have something for you guys. It's been over a week since I've had a video. I know you guys enjoy the content. You don't want to wait weeks for another video to come. Thank you guys to all the people that watched and supported that video. I made it a couple weeks ago, over 100,000 views in its first week. It's something like 130,000 views now, so thank you so much. I'm really grateful for that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. Some of you guys have walked the same path and been through some of the same stuff I have. Hopefully it brought back some nostalgia, maybe made you chuckle a little bit. And for anybody who's out there struggling right now, hopefully this information will help you when you want to make a decision about what you want to do to get some help. I strongly suggest anybody who's out there right now, please get some help. It's so bad and scary out there. It's not like it was when I first started using. It's just a whole different game now. Just please try to get some help. I promise you there's a better way out there. There's definitely a better way to life. And anybody who's out there doing the thing, walking the path, God bless you. We're all miracles, man. If you are out there using and you're clean today, you're a miracle. Believe that. So make good decisions, make good choices, take good care of yourselves, your family, your friends, your fellow human beings. Have a nice day, guys. I'll talk to you guys soon. God bless.